perform my thermal throttling when the issues do occur. It seems to be in certain sections of the game. You know, I've completed a fair few missions. I've got to say with absolute certainty it has somewhat ruined the game for me personally, especially when it does drop to pretty much unplayable frame rates. You know, playable to some, may not be playable to others, but anyway. But yeah, the game itself as well, you know, it's sort of from what I've experienced, primarily because of the repetitive nature of this game. It's just like, you know, take over strongholds, do like, you know, tiny fetch quest for an NPC or go save an NPC. It hasn't been anything like, you know, I thought it was going to be. But nevertheless, you know, my opinion aside, you know, I'm going to display something which could be game-breaking for some people. So yeah, I'm just going to go over here. I've got I should actually mention as well, a GTX 1080 Gaming X from MSI. So yeah, I've got a fairly decent GPU. Nothing really too special or spectacular, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter what resolution you play at, etc. You know, your GPU. Also, I've got a Core i7-6700K. Just to mention that as well. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to go over to a certain section of the game where it actually does indeed fluctuate. It does fluctuate fairly rapidly as well. Alright, so here we go, 86%, 84%, 81%, 90%, 88%, etc, etc. You're seeing the details right there, and you know, 53 degrees Celsius isn't exactly something that I would be concerned about, especially once it comes to running a game and like Far Cry 5. Now I'm just going to display the overall settings I'm currently running with Far Cry 5, so let's go over this. Right, so anyway, so 2560 by 1440, 16 by 9, and that's my refresh rate in case anyone's wondering what my actual display is. It's an Acer XB270HU, which is a 144Hz to 165Hz G-Sync IPS display, so there's not really much else to say there. Alright, so as you can see, I've got motion blur turned off. I don't really care for motion blur all that much. Pretty much everything is set to the complete maximum. I'm thinking about, you know, tweaking some of these settings to see if that could be causing the issue, or may just need to fix it with a patch or whatever the case may be. But yeah, and it's got also, in case anyone's wondering, it's got, you know, the what they did with Ghost Recon Wildlands, where it displays. So, for example, if I, you know, alter that in any way, shape or form, it will display the volumetric fog. And yeah, so anyway, I'm just gonna, you know, keep playing this to display like how it runs. For some reason, I don't know why, it's only started occurring what, about half an hour ago within the game, half an hour to an hour ago. So yeah, it's not like it just, you know, happened at the start of the game when I was playing. It was sitting at 99% usage when I first started playing for the first like hour and a half. So yeah, it's incredibly annoying and incredibly unfortunate. But like, look at this usage. It's you know, unbelievable. And no, I'm not hating in any way, shape or form. This is just something that I want to display to certain individuals because of the fact. Oh crap! Okay, I better run away from that. Because some people might be thinking about purchasing this game, but you know, this could be game breaking to absolute shithouse, especially with you know, say someone like, you know, who is a power user who has like a 1080 in their, 1080 Ti, and they're still not receiving the FPS they really should be, you know, expecting. What the hell happened there? I actually don't know. Oh, okay, I didn't realise he was on the opposing force, but anyway. What the hell? Okay. Alright, sorry if I ignore the whole entire video here, guys. Sometimes I do become incredibly invested in a game when I'm trying to do a live recording. But yeah, just pay attention to the top left and you will see the usage just not being as great as what it should be. And even when I haven't got the FPS counter up, I can definitely tell the difference between the game running at 80 and the game running at 60. And for me personally, considering how I've been running games for the past, what, 2 years, it does, 60 does, especially in shooters, does seem sort of like, it's sort of hard to play for me personally. But yeah, that's for shooters. I would like, you know, something like a, say, third-person action game like The Witcher, I can definitely put up with it. But for a shooter where I actually need fast-paced, twitchy movements, it does make it incredibly difficult. But I digress. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep roll this video for a bit longer. But yeah, if you're thinking about buying Far Cry 5 at this current point in time, the state it's in, this is what I recommend. If you can get this for a relatively cheap price via a CD Keys site or something like that, go off and do it. The reason why I state that is as followed. Like, the game with the current state it's in, it's still worthy of at least, you know, playing through it. With that being said, I also would recommend anyone to actually look into what you primarily do within Far Cry 5. I mean, the story itself is, you know, it's kind of cool, I guess, but, you know, when you look at the gameplay aspects and you look at what the primary missions are, it's like, you know, you taking over strongholds, going to rescue NPCs, doing all this stuff, trying to dominate this force that is, quite frankly, mental, to say the very least. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah. It's got, you know, a couple of things you can see on the right hand side here. My fucking cam is blocking it. It's almost the size of the sun, but whatever. Alright, so yeah, anyway, it's got a couple of cool elements, a couple of cool extras if you want to also check those out as well. So if you can get this game for, you know, a relatively decent price, I would highly recommend checking it out on PC at least. But yeah, with the current state it's in, with the GPU usage and everything else, like, I just, you know, could not, for the life of me, recommend it at full retail price. So if you go onto Steam and you've already got the money in your Steam account, then go for it. But otherwise, don't go out and buy this game at full retail price. But yeah, I'll just play the game for a bit longer, in case anyone just, I don't know, just completely forgets the point of this video. But yeah. So sometimes the usage is stable, but sometimes it's just completely, yeah, just incompetent of keeping a 99 usage of like 99%. But I digress. I've tried to perform a few actions in game, so like, you know, just in general, like say blowing certain things up and seeing what the usage actually, see what happens to the usage, see if it actually does trigger anything. Because you know, if I was going to report this to Ubisoft, I would actually like to have an in-depth analysis in regards to what is causing the issues. Is it, say, certain objects in the game? Is it just certain locations in the game? Is it like, you know, just certain things in, I don't know, it's hard to do an analysis, especially because of the fact that I don't have the tools necessary. Like, I don't have a way to, you know, edit the game itself and determine if it's, say, that object or that ground texture or anything like that that could potentially be causing the issues. But I digress. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Yeah, so if you're having this issue, don't sit back and worry, because like I'm, you know, having pretty much the same issue as well, especially in certain locations within the game itself. As you can see here, like when it sits at a relatively decent usage, like my frame rate pretty much sits in the 70s to 80s. So yeah, it sits at a more than playable frame rate. And then 95%, and it's just, it's annoying because, especially when you're a user who buys high-end hardware, you expect your high-end hardware to be able to turn around and deliver you a great experience. But I digress. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll leave it at this. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know if you're having issues, etc. I'm out. Have a good one, guys. Don't forget to, yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, hope